guys, welcome back to Miniature Adventures and welcome back to another alien 3D printed terrain. So before we get started on this video, just ask if you could subscribe if you haven't already and grab that like button. It really does help us with the YouTube algorithm. Anything you see here, if you like, we do offer a 3D printing service, so drop us an email. The link is in the comments. I'm sure we can give you probably the best deal around. So drop us an email and we'll see what we can do for you. And that goes for any of the 3D printed terrain that we currently review. So now we got that out of the way, let's take a look at this. And this is the 3D printed Alien Hive terrain from LV427. I think this is phenomenal. This set goes with any of the alien stuff, so we could use this just with the generic kind of alien terrain that they have. We could use this technically with the Nostromo. Maybe this is part of, you know, the Nostromo lower decks, or if you were to use the Nostromo as a space station, this is perfect. They had these Hope from Aliens Another Glorious Day in the core. We could absolutely use this with, as well as Alien The Hunt Begins, or Alien versus Predator The Hunt Begins. This just really captures the feel of an alien hive, and a lot of this reminds me of the Colonial Marines video game, a little bit of Alien Isolation AVP that came out, both of them. It's great. It looks fantastic, and we're going to take a closer look at all of the pieces. So first off, we have the three-way. I love the fact we've got some eggs. We have kind of all the resin on the walls, as well as some of the greebles that we've got still sticking out, which I think is fantastic. I love these corner pieces and the grills. It really gives depth to an otherwise kind of already perfect 3D terrain. These don't take long to print, honestly. I think at most they take us about 6 hours, which really isn't bad for this quality and this detail. Next, we have the four-way junction. I'm really digging the fact we've got some really nice greebles in here. We've got the pipes, we've got alien eggs, kind of like a nest area. We've got one that's open. I just think that this adds that kind of theme and that danger. You could almost imagine coming down a corridor, seeing this and basically being, oh crap. Yeah guys, we're in for a problem, basically. Next we have, now this is an adapter piece. This is the reactor entrance, and I love this, the fact it connects up to their existing pieces. So like I say, we can definitely use this with some of their other terrain. I love the fact an egg, you can never have too many eggs, they're always dotted around. And again, we've got some barrels and we've got some containers that kind of already started being taken over by the hive. It just gives you that kind of hive look. I'm thinking definitely from Aliens, where they started taking over the reactor. I like that, and the pipes themselves have all been kind of merged. Then we just have your standard kind of straight. Again, the terrain pieces are kind of being molded into the walls, which I really like.
Tracker's off scale, man. They're all around us, man. Jesus.
Maybe they don't show up on infrared at all.
For the walls, which I really like. Looks like we've got some eggs or even some cocoons on the wall. That just adds that kind of fear factor that you could definitely give your players and your characters. And again, we've got more greebles and things like that. This kind of reminds me, reminiscent of the sack we kind of see in Romulus, so I really like that. Now, a different kind of four-way that we have is this piece. Now this really does kind of go above and beyond. You're blocking line of sight, which is absolutely fantastic for role-playing games. You come in here, you have no idea what's kind of around here. So I do really like that aspect of it. And it's not just a piece of plastic stuck there. We've definitely got lots of detail when it comes to all of the canisters, an egg, got kind of sack there again, and some more kind of, you know, alien resin, I don't know what they actually call it, nest material. So I like that. Now, next we have, this is actually one of my favorite pieces. So this is a vent access. So firstly, we have this cool vent, goes in, and the blank part, which really fits up nicely with the vents. And if you combine them together, I mean, I could just imagine my players, stick this in there, you know, they've made their way from the colony, they're using the access shafts, and you could kind of describe, well, it's starting to get a bit viney, yeah, a bit kind of xenomorph nest, and they may not think too much of it, but literally they pop straight in and straight away they get eggs. You could say that they are open or dormant and they've got to sneak around, or literally as soon as they come through, face huggers start popping out. That to me just really adds that kind of sense of danger, especially if you don't set this piece up first and you just add in, say, one of their I've lost for words, their vent doorways here, so they have no idea, and then you're like, you place this down and you're like, this is what you're coming into. Oh, well, okay, we're in trouble, lads. So, lasses. So I really like the fact that that all connects. Here we have a nice dead end. You could have literally this just like this. You could put some eggs in here. You could even put a xenomorph in here. Or they're being chased by a xenomorph and they've come to a dead end, kind of last stand. That to me just screams theme and roleplay kind of ideas. Now, you could even put an objectives in here, so it's not just a bad dead end, it could be a good kind of dead end, which I really like. And then we just have the standard kind of L shape. I love the fact that the walls slope up. We've got the pods again, the vines, the kind of xenomorph resin is taking over the landscape in this one. It really is fantastic. And like I say, this stuff can really be used in any configuration. We can build pretty much whatever we wanted. So we could have that there. We could, in theory, have that there. And that's the reactor doorway there. Let's see if we can move you over a little bit. And then we have, well, we could kind of have this there. And we could have that there. And in theory, we could put another dead end here to match up. Over here, we could kind of come off somewhere, and over here, we come somewhere and extend off. And then, like I say, we can have the kind of vent works coming off here. This leads from like a colony or an outpost or something, and you're coming through, and then you're presented with this maze. So that is absolutely fantastic. That is the Alien Hive from LV427. Please check it out if you haven't already. I really do think that this will add to an already beautiful and thematic and just expandable set. So that's it from us, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you soon.